chair of appropriations, and Senator Fanfara, the chair of finance, and also their counterparts in the House, Representative Walker and Horn, for the work that they have done on this, and for those who've been there for several budget cycles, for the work they've done on several budgets. I know, I watch, and I know how difficult it is to try to come up with a budget that works for the state, and to take into account all of the perspectives people have, all of the issues that people have. I also want to thank our leadership for their role. And then I want to talk about my perspective on the budget. So I have watched this process, and I know that when we finish budgets, people feel relief. They feel good, and sometimes they even celebrate. I don't know if I would celebrate, despite the fact that I respect the work that was done. For me, I just start at, it is done. People stood outside of this building for quite a while now, and a lot of the time in the conversations, particularly in the budget conversations, you hear about what the people of the state think. Thousands of people have been outside of this building telling us what they think. They think that what we are trying to do here doesn't work for them. They know that in their lives they're struggling. And yes, there are increases in this budget, and I just heard about the fumes that one of the sectors is working on. Well, the increase that we're talking about doesn't get us away from the fumes. And I don't know what's going to happen in the lives of people. I know that they are telling us something, and we are responding with this budget. But we had options that we didn't take. With all due respect to the hard work that people did, we had options that we did not take. And if you say to somebody, well, at least you got a tax cut to $200, $300, $400, while people are saying, I'm making $17 an hour and I need more. I need $20 an hour, which is $6,000 a year. Those people look at that and say, sure, I can get groceries at the cost of groceries, and I appreciate that. But I really would appreciate being able to do the things I need to do. And I know something about this. My mother was a person who struggled very difficult. You know, people around the circle know this. And she worked herself to the point where she physically could not work anymore, and she couldn't do the things she needed to do. She did that because she had children. Like a parent, she's going to do everything she needed to do. People standing outside of this building are doing the same thing. And our answer to them is, we can't do more because we have guardrails in place. I'm trying to figure out what it is we're protecting, because the numbers built into this are arbitrary, and I respect the guardrails, but we didn't come up with these numbers through deep scientific approach to figure out what the numbers should be. We didn't come up with this because we had a lot of time. We came up with this because we were frustrated, we were tired, and we needed a solution. And thank you, Senator Fanfara, for your role in getting us there. But you can respect the guardrails and recognize what's going on outside and say, there are things we could do. But we said, if there are revenue surges, we're not going to take that money and do something with it. We prefer not to. We said there are things we could move from underneath the cap, but we're not going to do it because we prefer not to. I prefer to make sure that we had guardrails in place, and that we were also making sure that the people of the state who have been standing outside of the building, so there's no mistaking, right? People, anecdotally, I've heard this, I've heard that. There's no mistaking what they're saying. I prefer that we listened and responded and had a budget that said, not only do we have guardrails, but if you go over the side of the ship, we make sure we pull you back out of the ship, the water. But we said, I prefer not to. You know, somebody spoke about Ronald Reagan earlier and said that Reagan said that government stands in the way of progress, and boy, that's loaded. because Reagan's also the person who helped to start us down this path that we now on as we deal with funding colleges in our states. Yeah, government stood in the way of progress because colleges are places of opportunity. And in this state, like in a lot of other states, they're particularly becoming a place of opportunity for people who never had that opportunity. And we say, well, we still have the college system. Yeah, but what's inside the college system? What opportunity actually exists? Do we know? Or do we just know that it's still there? Because what I know, working there, having observed it, is that it's not a place where it's easy to get that opportunity because of the things we've done, because of the ways that we've chosen to fund the colleges. And so you have the woman or man, but more likely you have the woman who's struggling with her $17 an hour job, although we respect her so much because she's one of the people who went to work during the pandemic and kept us safe, or whatever she did, she struggles. And somehow she gets her child to college, or at least to the place where college would be, and what she has is a shell. Because we prefer not to. She's done everything, because we say we respect work. She's done more work than most of us will ever do. She's happy to work a double on a daily basis. Not once in a while, on a daily basis. So her kid can get an opportunity to be at that point where college is a possibility. Because despite what people are saying about colleges and for everybody, we didn't used to say that when the opportunities weren't for everybody. And now that they are for more people, we say college isn't for everybody. Well, clearly it's never been for everybody, but we didn't used to say that. Why not? Because we prefer not to. I have a problem with this budget. Because I'm standing here right now in this circle, and I've been listening for the last 3.5 years to a conversation about doing something different, because that's what a conversation that began with equity is about. Doing something different. And it's not doing something different in that there's a different way in which we allow you to drown. It's doing something different that says we start off with the concept that what we have done is the base, but we have to do more. That's how we got from we're going to have a conversation on equity to equity requires revenue. That's how that happened. And yet here we are. Give you a tax cut that's not going to deal with the fact that you're not going to make the extra money that you need. And by the way, the extra money you need is less than the money you should be making anyway. But I'm going to give you that. And then when people come to this building, what they're met with is, you should be happy you're getting more. Which is offensive, by the way. Because they're not asking for candy. They're asking for what is necessary in order to feed their children. They're asking for what is necessary in order to not be treated as less than human for the work that they're doing and given a pat on the back during the pandemic. And we drive through and hey, you guys are great. But when you show up and you ask to be treated like heroes, we'd prefer not to. I can't celebrate that. The only thing I have for that is, it is done.